Why the US is focusing on Greenland. This is Greenland. For centuries, almost no one paid attention to this massive island of ice. Only about 56,000 people live here. It looks empty, frozen, forgotten. But what if I told you this frozen wasteland is about to become the center of a global power struggle between the world's biggest superpowers? Because right now, the United States is intensely focused on Greenland. And this time, it's not a joke about buying it. The Arctic ice is melting. And beneath that ice, new shipping routes, untapped minerals, strategic military advantage. A potential trillion-dollar prize. At the exact same time, Russia is expanding its Arctic military presence. China is investing heavily, calling itself a near-Arctic state. And suddenly, Greenland isn't remote anymore. It's critical. But here's the twist. America's growing focus on Greenland has sparked tension, not with enemies, but inside its own alliance. This isn't just about ice. It's about military dominance, future technology, global trade routes, and who will lead the world in the 21st century. And the key to that future may be buried under Greenland's ice. The new great game in the Arctic. The Arctic is literally melting. And that changes everything. New sea routes are opening between Europe and Asia. Routes that could dramatically shorten global shipping times. At the same time, resources that were frozen solid for centuries are becoming accessible. Russia has the longest Arctic coastline in the world, and they are moving aggressively. They've rebuilt Cold War bases, expanded airfields, increased submarine patrols. For NATO, the idea of Russian submarines slipping into the Atlantic through Arctic waters is deeply concerning. But Russia isn't alone. China has launched what it calls a Polar Silk Road. Its goal, influence over Arctic trade routes and access to critical minerals. With Russian military expansion and Chinese economic ambition, the Arctic has transformed from isolated wilderness into one of the most strategically competitive regions on Earth. And Greenland sits right in the middle of it. A history of strategic importance. America's interest in Greenland isn't new. During the Cold War, the US signed a 1951 defense agreement with Denmark, allowing it to establish military bases on the island. The most important was Thule Air Base, now known as Pittafik Space Base. At its peak, more than 10,000 American personnel were stationed there. Why? Because Greenland's northern position made it the perfect early warning location to detect Soviet bombers and missiles traveling over the North Pole. It became America's first line of defense. The US even attempted an ambitious project called Project Iceworm, a secret plan to build a network of tunnels beneath the ice to house nuclear missiles. The project was eventually abandoned due to unstable ice conditions. But it showed one thing clearly. Greenland mattered. After the Cold War, America reduced its presence. But today, Pittafik Space Base plays a critical role in missile detection and space surveillance. History has shown a pattern. Whenever global tensions rise, Greenland becomes strategically vital again. The military pillar, America's Arctic shield. Today, Greenland serves three major military purposes. First, missile defense. Russia has developed hypersonic missiles capable of traveling at extreme speeds, making them difficult to intercept. The advanced radar systems in Greenland are among the few capable of detecting these launches early enough to respond. That makes Greenland both a shield and a potential target. Second, control of key sea lanes. Greenland sits near the GIUK Gap, a strategic maritime corridor between Greenland, Iceland, and the UK. Russian naval forces must pass through this corridor to access the Atlantic. Control this passage, and you influence naval movement between the Arctic and Atlantic. Third, forward operations. Pitafik supports NORAD, the joint US-Canada Aerospace Defense Command. Its runway and port provide a rare logistical hub in a region with almost no infrastructure. Strategically speaking, Greenland acts like an unsinkable aircraft carrier in the Arctic. The economic pillar, a treasure beneath the ice. But this isn't just about military strategy. It's about minerals, rare earth elements. These 17 minerals are essential for smartphones, electric vehicles, wind turbines, missile systems, and advanced electronics. And currently, China dominates global rare earth processing, controlling the vast majority of supply chains. Greenland holds significant deposits of these critical minerals. If developed, they could reduce Western dependence on Chinese supply chains. However, mining in the Arctic is expensive and environmentally sensitive. In 2021, Greenland banned uranium mining, affecting certain rare earth projects. So while the resources are there, extracting them remains politically and economically complex. Still, the potential is enormous. The geopolitical chessboard. Now the situation becomes even more complicated. China has attempted to invest in Greenland's infrastructure and mining sectors. Russia is expanding military presence across the Arctic. For the United States, preventing rival influence so close to North America is a top priority. In recent years, US proposals regarding Greenland, including discussions about purchasing the territory, sparked diplomatic tension. Denmark, which retains sovereignty over Greenland, responded by strengthening its Arctic defense capabilities and increasing investment in the region. This created friction within NATO, an alliance built on unity. Greenland became more than territory. It became a test of alliance politics. The Greenlandic perspective. But amid all this geopolitical maneuvering, one voice matters most. The people of Greenland. The island has enjoyed increasing self-rule since 1979. Many Greenlanders aspire to eventual full independence. The mineral wealth beneath their land could potentially fund that future. But development also raises serious environmental and cultural concerns. Polls indicate that Greenlanders do not support being sold or transferred to another country. They want agency. They want autonomy. They want control over their own destiny. And as global powers compete, Greenland's own voice is growing stronger. Conclusion. So why is the United States focusing on Greenland? Because the Arctic is transforming. Because new trade routes are emerging. Because rare earth minerals are strategically vital. Because missile technology is evolving. Because rival powers are expanding northward. Greenland is no longer peripheral. It is a military outpost, an economic opportunity, a geopolitical flashpoint. The future of Arctic security, global trade, and technological competition may very well depend on what happens here. The question is no longer whether Greenland matters. It's who will shape its future. What do you think? Who will dominate the Arctic in the decades ahead? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want more deep, research-driven geopolitical analysis, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because the next global power struggle may already be unfolding. Thanks for watching. New informative